Good morning, everyone. Um, I am not going to be around tomorrow morning. I have another thing that I need to do. So I'm recording this class on a Sunday morning that you can use as your Monday morning mat class. Um, as I said, we'll be doing a mat workout, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate the moves in essence working out with you. Um, let's get going. So grab your props, a ball or block for between the inner thighs, dumbbells for your hands. Flex band is a nice thing. And a blanket for underneath the back of your head. I'm gonna lie down on the mat. I'll adjust my camera angle so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll get rolling with class. All righty. We are gonna start lying down in a neutral position with the knees bent. Yeah, ooh, that looks very close. Let me move my camera a little bit more. There we go. Not quite so creepy close, perhaps. Oh, there, that feels better. All right. And I'd like you to go ahead and put the ball between your knees as we do our initial breathing. You don't really have to do a lot with the ball. It can be just a nice way to support the knees and to just bring some awareness to your body, right? So it does continue down into your legs and your feet. Have your hands on your low belly, settle your feet into ground. Try to keep your eyes open and the muscles around your eyes relaxed. We inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Continue here quietly for a minute or more. Stay with this in the moment style of awareness, not anticipating the workout, not being overly analytical about it. With each round of breath, feel a softening in the muscles and an increasing ability to settle through the weight of your bones. Softening the muscles and settling through the bones can make sort of automatic adjustments to posture. We are in neutral. But if those automatic adjustments need a little bit of conscious repositioning, go ahead and do that. We have 3 more rounds of breath, inhaling through the nose. And without anticipation or strain, exhale through the mouth. 2 more times. We're about to move into imprint and release. So get a feeling for the pelvic structure separate from the top of your leg bones, your thigh bones, right? We're going to imprint and release, and that will cause a rolling of the pelvis through the axis of the hips around the top of your thigh bones. And honestly, the reason the pelvis is moving, well, because it is a contraction of the lower abs, but also because it is attached to the spine. So that lower ab contraction, exhale as you do this, will bring the low back into flexion, flattening it toward the mat and stretching it through the tip of the tail. Stay here and inhale in place, maintaining that contraction, but still able to breathe in fully and freely. And then exhale, release the imprint. We're doing it very slowly this morning. And allow the abdominal contraction to lengthen or subside. In neutral, prepare with an inhale. And then on your exhale, move again into imprint. Bending your spine. Spine is attached to the pelvis, so the pelvis moves as well, rolling through the axis of the hips. Inhale, stay. And exhale, return through neutral. Do 2 more complete repetitions, a total of 4, inhaling where you are, and exhaling to move through the next stage of the exercise, going into imprint in my case. Inhale to stay where you are, relaxing the legs, feeling the groundedness of the feet. And then exhale, returning to neutral, next stage of the movement. And then a final repetition. Breathe in to prepare and exhale to imprint. Inhaling here, feel a balancing in the relationship of pelvis to the rest of your spine, ribs and shoulders. And then exhale, return through neutral. And put the ball off to the side, hug the knees in toward the chest. So as you hug the knees in toward the chest, keep them side by side. Try not to cross the ankles or the feet, and allow the spine to slip into that imprint-like position. You can even let the tailbone roll up a little bit. Have a very gentle or subtle shifting side to side, and then maybe little circles. Eventually, keeping your imprint, place the legs in a supported tabletop position as you hold on to your knees. So, not true tabletop, with the knees a little bit separated. Do little independent movements through the legs, really through the hips, as you guide with your hands. So, you can take it slow, you can rock a little side to side, you can have it be synchronous or balanced across the sides, or you can have it be a little bit more random. When you've had enough of that, go ahead and hug one knee in, clasp your hands together over top the shin, and exhale, stretch the other leg away. You can rest it on the mat or you can just extend it in space, your choice. Keep firmness in the lower abs, and on the next exhale, switch. So this is what we're doing for our hip release this morning. Keeping the posture balanced and the spine imprinted, clasping the other leg in. We're going to stretch through the other side. And we'll do this again a time or two across the sides. Use your exhale to support your spine and to extend the new leg, squishing the other leg in and then releasing. Now, this can also be a nice way to become conscious of the shoulders. We're using the arms and the arm strength. Make sure that using your arms doesn't cause the shoulders to slip forward or to contract upward into the neck. Keep the bottom of the ribs on the mat and finish off across the sides here. When you've done that, guide the feet back down to the ground. Keep your knees bent. And we'll roll over to one side to do our spinal rotation. I'm going to double up my mat a little bit so that I have a nice layer under my head. You lie on your side. Put the ball between your knees unless that's not helpful to you. And as you extend the arms to the front, make sure to feel the squaring of the shoulders to the back. Feel that they're balanced with the position of your hips. The spine is neutral. The knees are lifted a little bit and the feet are together. You'll exhale to lightly squeeze the ball and stabilize the lower body. Begin the rotation by inhaling and turning the gaze upward, lifting the top arm. And then on your exhale, continue the rotation, opening through the top side of the ribs as you stretch across the shoulders and twist through the waist. Inhale in this open position. And then as you exhale, feel a clear passageway for the breath and return, initiating with the muscles that wrap around your waist. Feel the spine realigning, the chest open, the gaze neutral as the arm lowers. 2 more. Inhale, turn the head upward, lifting the arm. And exhale, spiraling down through the length of your spine. You stabilize the lower body. Inhale. And then exhale, light squeeze to the ball and return. One more from this side, please. Continue. Inhaling, starting the rotation at the top, and exhaling, continuing without skipping any segments of your spine. Inhale and exhale to return. When you've completed that side, roll over to the other direction, and we continue with 3. Wiggling into place, setting the position of the legs, extending the arms forward. Gaze is neutral. Exhale, squeeze the ball. Inhale, turn the head and lift the arm. Exhale, spiral downward, opening through the center of the chest. Feel the whole length of your rib cage turning as the spine twists. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the ball, and return as you did on the first side. 3 repetitions. And last one. Once you've returned, make your way to hands and knees. We'll be continuing through the standard warm-up sequence, the prescribed warm-up sequence. We'll be doing cat stretch. So again, I'll change my camera angle a little bit. Tucking your toes under if you appreciate that stretch. Make your wrists comfortable however you need to. And establish your neutral spine. I have the ball between my knees. It's nice to have a little squeeze here. Unshrug the shoulders, open the chest. Inhale in preparation, breath sliding all the way down into the base of the pelvis. Squeeze the ball and lightly contract pelvic floor as you exhale and round the spine into that spooked cat position, flexing a vertebra at a time. This time, the abdominal contraction traveling up through the bottom of the ribs. Pressing lightly into your fingertips. Inhale here. And exhale, return through neutral, lengthening the abs as we maintain core. Feel a balancing and a stretch through the front of the spine, the front of the body, and then inhale, open the chest, and exhale. We will move into extension on the out breath. Let that go and do just one more. Inhale, prepare in neutral. And exhale, squeeze the ball, create length through the spine and round a vertebra at a time into flexion. Bottom of the ribs, middle of the back area, flexing deeply as it lifts toward the ceiling, ends of the spine dropping. Hold the flexion, inhale, and exhale, squeeze the ball, creating length as you return through your neutral line. Feel the dynamic adjustment through the hips, the ribs, the shoulders, the position of the head. Inhale, pause here, open the chest, and then exhale, lightly contract the bottom of the shoulder blades to lift and extend the chest forward and upward. And release. Lie down onto your back and have minimal or 0 head mat. We'll continue into some hip rolls. And I suggest a ball between the knees or possibly between the ankles. Okay. Inhale and exhale. Prepare, but just squeezing the ball lightly and gaining a sense of your posture. Breathe in. And now on this exhale, squeeze the ball lightly, create length. And one more time, we're rounding the spine. It'll actually be 3 more times. Working through that spooked cat curve, feel the articulation through the bottom of the ribs. And then as the hips extend, we start to neutralize the low spine, the mid spine, all the way up into the top of the rib cage, shoulders open as the arms fall back. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the ball and roll down. Feel like the ribs are made of a heavy fabric that just falls and drapes easily through the open shoulders. Feel the contact point, the bottom of the ribs, and then continue that lengthening into imprint and finally into neutral. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, and continue. Balanced over the soles of your feet. Inhale here. And exhale, roll down. Feel as though the back of your thighs are pulling in the direction of your calves. And you get a release through the back of your torso, the muscles behind and between the ribs, along the length of your spine, through the back of the pelvis. Finally, even your glutes release. We do one more. Good. When you return to neutral, we'll keep the hips on the ground and bring our focus to the shoulders. So you can choose to use weights here or not, as you like. We're going to do some shoulder movement. By shoulders, I of course mean the shoulder blades and the collarbones as they sit over top the ribs. So all of those things form the shoulder structures, and the arm bones sit inside of that shoulder capsule. So we don't want to really yank the arm bones into an uncomfortable position. But as we inhale, we do want to move the shoulders forward. That means collarbones, shoulder blades separating and spreading. And then on the exhale, go the other way. Gravity will help you allow the collarbones to relax and lightly contract the muscles in between the shoulder blades, maintaining the integrity of the shoulder structure. Inhale, the shoulder structure moves forward toward the front of the ribs, front of the body, and exhale, it moves backward. Now, it might sound like an inherently unstable or kind of dangerous situation to have the shoulders be able to go through this range of motion. Do just one more and then settle in neutral. But it actually enables us to be, fantastically versatile in how we move through our arms and our joints in the upper body. Keeping neutral with regard to the ribs as well as the arm bones and the shoulders. On the next exhale, squeeze the ball and reach the arms back. Feel muscles at the sides and bottom of the rib cage wrapping around the waist and inward. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the ball and feel the muscles in the front of the pelvis wrapping toward the sides of the waist and reaching upward toward those muscles in the ribs. Inhale, Exhale, reach back. Now, underneath all of this, of course, your core is working. So as you squeeze the ball, you'll also feel or notice a light toning in pelvic floor. Hold the reach and inhale, and then exhale and return. We're going to go through 2 more repetitions of this. Notice the state of your spine, how your back is feeling, how the back of your pelvis is feeling. We want to come out of tension in those areas as we maintain posture. This gives more of the work and the responsibility for posture to core and abs, which, in my opinion, is as it should be. Certainly a more comfortable situation for the back, for the neck. Lower the hands down after you've completed the last one. And maybe with your fingertips resting lightly on the ground, inhale, shrug the shoulders up, and exhale, shrug the shoulders down. And here it sometimes helps to think about the collarbones and shoulder blades as little caps that sit on top of the ribs. You can feel them sort of lifting up and then moving downward toward the surface of the ribs, right? Up and down a couple more times. Notice the extremes and notice the muscles at the back of the neck and then at the base of the shoulder blades. I'm going to keep the base of the shoulder blades grounded, release the back of the neck, and nod the head a couple of times. Inhale, exhale, release. Relaxing the back of the neck, maintaining a gentle connection through the bottom of the shoulder blades. Do one more nod of the head, and then let that go. Hands go behind the head to support its weight, although the mechanics of that movement are the same. And we'll continue into ab prep. Once your hands are behind your head, open and close your elbows until the shoulders sit comfortably on the rib cage, and then have a preparatory exhale where you lightly squeeze the inner thighs, notice pelvic floor, but relax the hips and the low spine. Inhale, nod the chin, and exhale, bend forward. Inhale and exhale, lower. Set of 6, please. Nod the chin to the chest. Over the surface of core, we relate the lower abs or the abs in the front of the pelvis to the abs in the bottom of the ribs. And in truth, both of those muscle groups wrap around the sides of the waist. Nod the chin to the chest. Lengthen through the 6-pack muscles and feel the ribs sliding down over the surface of the belly. As you do your final repetitions, know if you're building or holding tension in the low back area, in the lumbar curve, or shortness between the bottom of the back ribs and the base of the pelvis. You want to feel a sliding and a lengthening there as well. And last one. When you've completed your last one, take the ball out. And it might feel good to give the knees another hug toward the chest, or to put the feet wide and drop the knees in the same direction, side to side. We'll all end up with legs extended. I'll try to move so you can see my feet. And on the inhale breath, we'll pull our toes up. And on the exhale breath, point away. Do this a couple of times. Let's say 4 times. And then rock the feet side to side, both sets of feet going in the same direction. 4 times. We're going to take the feet in little circles, both traveling in the same sense, and continue this little circling or rolling around through the pelvis and hips. Reverse. And then finally, just kind of shake out the legs. We're going to roll over onto our bellies and do our extension series. We'll do all 3 versions of extension. You probably want that little layer of mat to go under your forehead as we lie belly down. And you want enough room that your legs can stretch out below you. Hopefully we've already established that. Alrighty, we will start with breaststroke prep number 1. The head supported on the edge of the blanket or mat will help to keep it in more or less a neutral position through the cervical spine. Wiggle your legs together, feel the inner thighs. Stretch through the backs of your knees, press lightly through the top of your feet. And as you relax through your low back, use your lower abs to gently draw the pubic bones forward until the front of the hips are relaxed and long. Holding this position, we inhale in place. And on the exhale breath, begin to contract the bottom of the shoulder blades, sliding them down the back of the ribs. Coming up to maybe the bottom of the rib cage extension-wise. Inhale here and exhale to lower. At the bottom, have a breath in, really open through the center of the chest, front and back. And on the exhale, extend. Breathe in and breathe out as you lower. Third and final repetition of breaststroke prep number 1. And then we'll continue through the second version of breaststroke prep. Number 2, or dart. Arms stretch long by your sides and shoulders will drape forward. Keeping the stretch of the legs and the groundedness of your center, your pelvis. Inhale, balance the shoulders around the rib cage and bring your arms up along your sides, stretching through your elbows till you feel your triceps. Keeping the arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, contract the bottom of the shoulder blades and rise again, this time only to a hover. Try to find and feel the neutral curves of the spine from the pelvis to the head. Inhale and exhale, lower. Allow the shoulders to relax. And 2 more repetitions. Inhale, practice in placing the shoulders and balancing them. Stretch through the legs and arms and extend into a hover. Lower on the next exhale. And have 1 more repetition. Inhale, placing shoulders and arms. Exhale, extending the spine. Bring your hands under your forehead. You might find you don't need the blanket anymore. And we just do 2 repetitions of breaststroke prep number 3. Same hover, arms in a more challenging position. A little bit of weight lifting with our body, our own body weight here. Prepare with inhale, stretch through the front of the hips, and exhale, extend the spine. Inhale, exhale, and lower. One more. After your last one, sit back into shell stretch. Feel the whole length of your spine stretching through the curve, and make any other movements you need to make through head and shoulders. Sometimes it feels nice to shift a little left and right. Right. And on an exhale breath, roll up and come to a seated position. Okay. I'd like to continue into a little bit of half roll back and then neck pull front prep before we return to flexion from the floor, so that our abs are fully engaged ideally, and the muscles of the back that we're just working hard have had an opportunity to stretch. All right. So in half roll back, you can sit up on a chair or cushion if that helps to relax your hips. And then keeping that nice orientation over the sitting bones, extend the arms forward. So your gaze is higher than your fingertips, but you're keeping it centered between them. And on the exhale breath, without pushing through the feet, pull through the front of your pelvis, lifting the hip points in front of the pelvis, back and up toward the bottom of the ribs. Roll back and keep the upper back vertical, the top of the head reaching toward the ceiling. Inhale, and then exhale, return. And remember, it's half roll back, so you don't have to really push that. We inhale here and exhale, working the abs into connection from the bottom of the abdominal area to the bottom of the ribs. We feel this strong connection in and up and down, suspending the weight of our upper body. So none of this has to work up top. And then exhale and return. Another repetition of this one. Exhaling, like our imprint. We activate the abs. And similar to the imprint pattern that we used today, we'll hold the abs and inhale fully using the bottom of the side ribs before exhaling and returning. Bend the elbows and bring the fingertips back to the forehead. Right? Alternatively, you can put them behind the head, but remember, you never want to push the head forward on the neck. Building from half roll back, we start with that motion or action, melting the shoulders. And from here, we're going to curve forward like we're doing an ab prep up over ourselves. Exhale, keep the lower abs pulling the front of the pelvis back, and the upper abs bending the top of the or bottom of the ribs forward, so the top of the head comes toward the knees. And then once you're on your sitting bones, inhale and stack up. Two more, please. Exhale. Lengthen upward. Stretch your legs in front of you and open your arms wide. Spine twist. Dividing the breath into 3 segments on exhale, we prepare with an inhale and center, and then exhale, twist a little bit, exhale, twist a little more, exhale, twist to the end of your range, and inhale, return through center. Exhale, twist in the other direction. Keep going across the sides. Feel that with every exhale, you get taller. And then every exhale gives you a little deeper sensation inside the low belly, inside the pelvic area. Try not to scoot your legs or to shift over your sitting bones. And finish off with this last side. When you've returned through center, shake out your arms, roll your shoulders, and we'll continue into full roll down. Grab your flex band for this if you have it. So I'm going to scooch a little bit more this way. Flex band goes over the bottoms of the feet though. Make sure that it's pretty securely connected so it doesn't snap off over the tops of your toes into your face. And we start with bent elbows, square shoulders, and a little bit of activity in the biceps. And we're holding on tightly here, but we're not holding on tightly in the neck or top of the shoulders. We'll inhale in place. And on the exhale, just like you did with half roll back, we connect through the bottom of the abs, the middle of the abs, the top of that ab area, keeping the chest and the shoulders open. Try to bend through the rib cage. Head lays down. If you're holding the flex band, you can straighten your elbows. If you're not holding a flex band, you can stretch your arms back and then nod on the inhale. And as you exhale and begin to bend forward, bend your elbows as well. Doing a biceps curl as you come over the legs. Inhale up, and please do 3 more. Exhale down. Now, the last time we roll down, we'll stay there rather than coming back up again. Straighten your arms. And if you're using your flex band, go ahead and take your feet out of it. Flex band goes off to the side. And with knees bent and feet flat, just have a couple of breaths in and out. We're going to be moving into some tabletop work, the 100 right off the bat. So give yourself a moment to rebalance here, to feel that the abs not only can contract, but they can lengthen as well. Yeah. So breath passing through, muscles relaxed, weight of the joints pleasantly settled. Inhale in preparation for imprint, and exhale, make that imprint. Relaxing the chest, lengthening through the tail. Place your hands on your low belly. So inside of those hip points on the top of the front of your pelvis, by about 2 inches, are your internal obliques, more or less. There's a lot of stuff in there. Um, when you exhale and make your imprint, these muscles are going to contract. You want to feel them moving inward and upward toward the navel. Take a breath here and keeping that contraction. I'd like you to exhale 5 times in a row. And then inhale, holding imprint. Do this a couple more times. This simulates the exhale portion of the 100. And see if you can get longer through the back of the sides of the waist, more open rather than more closed or tight through the shoulders. Inhale. And then each exhale portion or segment gets you a little bit more deeply invested in the ab muscles as well as the muscles under the surface and core. So look for pelvic floor. Now, classically, the 100 is done in a tabletop and with torso bent forward, sometimes with legs extended. You're welcome to take any of those variations. I'm going to keep my head down and put a flex band over my shins in a tabletop position. So we'll take a breath, keep that deepest imprint, and on an exhale, push off of one foot to lift the leg up into tabletop, more or less 90-90. Exhale, second foot, and then flex band over the shins if you're using it. Otherwise, your arms are going to be by the sides, and we do a pulsing this way. Yeah, okay. So take a moment before bending forward or coming into your final position to make sure the bottom of the ribs are truly integrated with the muscles in the belly and the pelvis, rather than braced or gripped forward. And the chest is open, even though the abs are working hard. A little nod of the head. Exhale, bend forward if that's where you're going. And then continue. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway through. Last one. Inhale and exhale, release. You can hug your knees in or put your feet down, but do keep your imprint as you eventually place the feet on the ground. Mhm. And remove or lower your head mat. Shoulder bridge, I'd like you to put a ball between your knees. And maybe a flex band across the front of your hips. You can also perch some weights there, dumbbells there if you like. And we'll work on stretching the front of the hips a little bit, working more specifically through core and glutes and back chain of the legs. Yeah. Feel the feet balanced against the ground and exhale, return through a definite neutral. Feel that there's no disruption or tension in the middle of the spine or base of the neck. And then inhale in place. And on the exhale breath, simply press the hips upward, lifting them against the resistance of the flex band. or the weights, or maybe not at all. Feel the glutes really working as you extend the front of the hips. Inhale in place and exhale to lower. We'll repeat 3 more times. Try not to tighten the chest or the front of the shoulders as the pelvis lowers. Inhale there. Exhale, squeeze the ball and press up again. Inhale at the top and exhale lower. Now the last 2 repetitions, we'll add a little something at the top. Exhale the next time you lift and stay there. On your inhale, so staying there wasn't quite right. We're going to lower the hips a little bit, creasing at the hip flexor area, and then exhale, pulse upward. A little bit down and up. A little bit down and up. Try not to tighten the back of your neck or even your upper back. Feel the back of your arms and the bottom of the shoulder blades and ribs. Pulsing upward 3 more times. Inhale and exhale, lower. Take a breath at the bottom. And exhale, extend the hips last time. Now we squeeze the ball 8 times, not activating lower back. Simply exhaling and engaging more into our length from our core. Steady and consistent connection through the bottom of the shoulder blades and ribs that doesn't restrict the breath or contribute to tension in the shoulders or chest. 3 more. Keep the extension of the hips. Hold the squeeze, inhale, and exhale, lower the hips. Once you're down, put the ball and the flex band off to the side. And stretch your legs how you like. You're going to want to find your head mat again, probably. We're going to roll over onto our side and continue with a little bit of side leg work. Okay, and we're going to start with clamshell. I like to have the blanket as well as a little layer of arm under my head. And we definitely want to work in a neutral spine. So I know my shirt is falling down, but you want to make sure the bottom of the waist doesn't collapse into the mat, right? Not because we're holding tension over top, but because we're holding muscular connection and structural integration through the bottom of the ribs into the pelvis. All right, with the feet together, we find the muscles in the back of the hip here and use them to exhale and lift the top knee. Inhale, lower. So keep this going. We'll do 8. Now the clamshell exercise, rather than irritating the outer hip or even the front out here, should target the area around the sitting bones from the back of the trochanter into the base of the pelvis. And ideally, we're able to do this without coming out of balance, right? So literally without falling back onto the floor or shifting the position of our center. We're halfway through. We'll do both sides, of course. 3 more. You'll feel it in your glutes a little bit as well, but again, not out here. 1 more. Under the thigh, wrapping around toward the sitting bone. And release. Roll over to your other side. All right. So So when you're arranged, get yourself put together. And on an exhale breath, laterally rotate the top leg, lifting the knee. Inhale, lower. Right over here, a little bit in the main part of the glutes. Definitely not near lower back. Don't feel like you have to really fling the knee out at the expense of your balance. This is really important. So, and then return to the first side. Okay. So we've had some practice at not falling off the side of our hip as we kind of shift the weight of our leg around. We're going to truly challenge that now with side kick. And so we extend the legs, but we're going to keep a little bit of flexion in the hips, right? So our starting position, rather than being totally straight, I guess I was hyperextended there, is a little bit flexed. We still want to integrate the bottom of the waist. And then line up the tailbone under the base of the skull. Your legs are going to be kind of drifting downward. We'll pick up the top leg on an exhale breath and flex the foot. On the inhale, bring that leg forward. Point it, and on the exhale, take the leg back. Try not to get really tight through the outside of the bottom hip. Instead, find the inner thigh and find your core. Core helping to align internally. We, of course, maintain all of those external muscles that lend additional support, your external obliques, your internal obliques. We have two more. Inhale. And one more. Lower the leg down and rest for a moment. Re-stretch through both of your legs and bring them back into a neutral hip extension. So like we did when we were lying down on the floor, we want the front of the hips to be open. The lower abs are working to help that. And our glutes are working from behind the hip. We're going to lift and lower the top leg, working through the lateral aspects of the hips. Prepare with an exhale. And then inhale, lift the top leg up. Foot is pointed. Flex the foot and exhale, lower the leg down. Point and lift. And flex and press. Try again not to harden the outer part of your bottom hip or to collapse the bottom of the waist, but to feel more inside the pelvis and outside the muscles of the waist. Inhale and exhale. We have three more. And then bend the knees. Roll onto your back for a moment. We'll go to the other side next, but take a moment where your spine is supported by the mat. And let the outside of the hips relax for a bit. Pardon me. We're going to roll over to the other side after you've had that moment of recovery and set it up the same way. Remember, we've got a little bit of hip flexion for the first version, our side kick. Try not to kick anything here. Here we go. The feet are flexed. Line up the tailbone. And then lift the top leg to hip height. With the flexed foot, inhale and bring the leg forward. Light touch with the top hand on the mat. And then exhale, point the foot and take the leg back. Inhale, top leg comes forward, foot is flexed. Point and exhale, take the foot back. Inhale. More. Lower the leg down and bring both legs back into a neutral line. Low abs and glutes. Try to line up your tail and not wag it side to side. If you are a mobile person and part of your spine or your hips can be quite challenging. So stabilizing can be a lot more work than moving your leg around. So have an exhale here. Inhale, lift the top leg. And then flex the foot and exhale, pull it down. When you're done with that, go ahead and roll over onto your belly and sit back into shell stretch. I like to push a little bit with my fingertips and add to the stretch of the spine. And of course, you can kind of play with this one. You can take it low in the spine. You can pull it up a little bit. Right. And on an exhale, roll up and come to hands and knees, please. Let's put a ball between the knees. Sorry, I'll get back in the camera in a moment. There we go, ball between the knees. And we're gonna do our knee hover. Yeah. Move my mat as well. This can be a little hard on the kneecaps. You might need some cushioning there. Okay. And like cat stretch, we can have arms or wrists rather where they need to be so that it takes the strain out of those bones. We'll look at the space between the top of our fingertips on the ground and have an exhale here with toes tucked under, just a light squeeze through inner thighs. Feel all of those muscles on the outside of the hips that we were just using kind of widening away from each other and lengthening up and down the outer line of the thigh. Well, inhale, and then the next time you squeeze the ball, press down into the toes and begin to float the knees up. In essence, pivoting very small way through the shoulders. Inhale and exhale, lower. We'll repeat that 3 more times, this knee hover or leg pull front prep. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, lift the knees. Breathe in And exhale, lower. Same thing, 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. When you've done the last one, sit back into shell stretch again. And I like to take it a little lower, so more toward child's pose. The point really is to relieve the muscles on the back that may have gotten a little bit tight with the previous exercise or exercises. On the next exhale, go ahead and roll up. And we're going to actually come to our feet as we do our cool down and finish up class here. So I'll shift my camera and you guys go ahead and stand up. There we are. Okay. Oops, not quite. Let's try that. Okay, there you are. There I am anyway. So standing on our feet, roll the shoulders a couple of times. Have some softness in the knees. Nod the chin to the chest. And exhale, roll down through the spine. Don't pull your head forward to bend your upper back. Instead, let your upper back soften. Open the chest and let the ribs slide down the front of the body. The weight of the arms hanging. You'll want to bend the knees or allow them to adapt as you curve through the lower spine. Pelvis rolling through the axis of the hips. Weight definitely into your feet. Try not to crunch your toes. Inhale at the bottom, nod yes, and turn the head no. Take a breath, and you can either stay here or come up a little bit, depending how far you are down, and just let the arms circle like a couple of pendulums. Couple of circles in one direction, go the other way as well. And then let that circling subside with weight in the feet. Inhale, and then exhale, pushing the ground down in a balanced way through the bottoms of the feet. Start to roll up, moving the pelvis through the hips, beginning to extend through the knees, unfurling, anchoring the bottom of the shoulder blades, and standing upright. Breathe in, and then exhale. On your inhale, bend your knees and lift your arms up in front of your shoulders. On your exhale, slide your hands down by your sides, straighten your legs, and hanging evenly through the shoulders, inhale, lift your heels, and exhale, lower. Inhale, bend your knees. I'm just going to be out of the screen, but you guys know what we're doing. Exhale, stretch your legs, arms hanging, inhale, lift your heels, and exhale, lower. 3 more. When you've lowered from the last one, keep the balls of the feet and the toes grounded, center the heels, and stack effortlessly over your arches, over pelvic floor, the bottom of the ribs, the inside of the shoulders, the jawline, the crown of the head. Eyes open, pupils centered, but gaze and focus very soft. Breathe in through your eyes and breathe out. Breathe in through the center of your heart and breathe out of the space behind you. Breathe in, let it drop down to the soles of your feet. And as you breathe out, let it rise through the crown. Focus the eyes, inhale. Exhale and a sigh. And that's it, you guys. There's your Monday class. I hope you found it useful or helpful. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.